Welcome back to another Drag Race Quick Bite. I'm Jack, and let's talk strategy. It's no secret that another show that I really love is Big Brother, and I think that All-Star 7 is really bringing out a lot of the strategy that has been missing from Drag Race. Because no one's going home and the format has shifted into blocking and making allies, there's people who are playing better games than others, and I want to talk about each contestant today. I'm going to run through each person, talk about their best moves, and then tell you who I think is playing the best in the end. I think it's a really good time to do this right now because we're about halfway through the season, it's about even playing fields, and we only have like 5 competitive episodes left before we get to the lip sync for the crown. But before we jump into it, just want to let you know that only a small portion of you guys are subscribed, so if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Let's go through chronological order like I did with the guide video. When it comes to strategy talk, I feel like Raja is always left out of the conversation for it, outside of giving someone a star in this last episode. With only 1 win under her belt, she's playing a pretty clean game and hasn't had to block anyone quite yet. We saw the strategy in this last episode when she gave her star to Yvie, which I think was the best move possible. You can look at Raja's choice to give Yvie a star in a couple ways. One way is that she's trying to play friends, and if Yvie gets in the top later, Raja probably won't be blocked by Yvie. You can kind of say that for anyone though, so I think she gave Yvie the star because Yvie was the only one without one, so if she gave one to Yvie, she's not allowing anyone else to get ahead. It's definitely the most safe move to give Yvie the star because I feel like if any of the other queens were in the position, they would have done the same thing, so she's not really getting a lot of blood or negativity on her hands. This is unlike our next contestant, Jinkx Monsoon. This is a very rough time for Jinkx because we're in the mid-game and they are by far the front runner. Though there are 2 other people with 2 stars, it's clear that Jinkx has excelled in the challenges the most. And right now, the state that they're at in the game is not looking too hot because next week is a design challenge and they're blocked this week. Obviously, I don't really think that they're going to excel in a design challenge. I mean, you know, we saw the last one. But by not excelling in this next week's challenge, there's a likelihood that they're going to get blocked again. So what did Jinkx do to protect themselves? They gave a star to Jaida. Now, there are multiple reasons why Jinkx could have given the star to Jaida, but I think I have the true one right here. People online are saying that Jaida got the star because Jinkx doesn't think that she's fierce competition, and I don't think that's true. Jinkx gave the answer that they think that Jaida is just the best vibes in the workroom, and I think that's a little true, but I don't think that's the full reason. The full reasoning behind it to me is that Jaida is the only one with a star who hasn't gotten blocked yet outside of Raja, but that was from last episode. By giving Jaida a star, it both puts a target on Jaida's back while also creating an ally in areas where Jinkx's talents may lack. Queens who may be playing a cleaner game than Jinkx may look at the fact that Jaida hasn't been blocked and now has 2 stars and may block her as like an even balancing thing. If queens are just trying not to get blood on their hands, it's kind of logical to block Jaida because she hasn't been blocked yet and now she's kind of in the lead as well. So with this move, Jinkx kind of gets a lot of the heat off of their back while making an ally who's good at things like design. Lo and behold, the next challenge is design. If Jaida wins this like she won the design challenge last time, she probably won't block Jinkx, but if she did, that would be a gag. I think this choice was a really smart move, but another smart move would be giving the star to Trinity. And that right there is the issue. Who was in the top with Jaida for that design challenge? It was Trinity. Jaida is clearly good vibes all around, just playing a fun game, which we'll get back to later. Trinity is more competitive and more ruthless, which we've seen a lot. It's clear in the ball that she was helping Jinkx out of the kindness of her heart, but also maybe with a little strategy and allyship hopefully coming in as well. But with Jinkx now giving the star to Jaida, I feel like Trinity is more willing to block Jinkx than she would have been before. Out of everyone in the game, Jinkx is absolutely in the hardest position, and I think they're doing a really good job at maintaining it. But it's clear as things start to shake down and they're pulling ahead, they might be the #1 target for the rest of the game, so now they have to kind of socially manage, and they're doing a good job, but I think they could do even better. Maybe they should go back to that alliance with Monet and Trinity. Speaking of those 2, they are up next. Let's start off with Trinity this time because I feel like there's a little less to say. I think she's doing pretty good in the game, but she hasn't been given a lot of opportunities to make big game moves. She hasn't had to block anyone, give anyone a star, make the cast order, do basically anything outside of maybe forming an alliance. It just seems like she's very go with the flow, a little bit of a floater, allowing people to make the moves, and she just kind of adapts around them. If Monet wants to start an alliance, okay, cool, let's do it. If she wants to block someone, she'll probably play it pretty fairly. She hasn't been in the top in the past couple weeks, so she's been allowed to lay low and let the heat go to other people. Now with some bigger targets out there and a very big vendetta for Jinkx, she's kind of positioning herself in an interesting way. By fully speaking on the fact that she was upset that Jinkx didn't give her a star, it's putting that fact out there, and people may not target Trinity in the future because she's gunning so hard for Jinkx, if that makes sense, but that may be too Big Brother for this type of format. Overall, I think she's playing a good game, but we need to see her make a game move in order to like fully pinpoint where she's at in like the strategy side of things. Next up, we have Monet, and it's an interesting situation. I'm really invested, but it's hard to talk about. At the start, I think Monet was playing the best game by far, having multiple allies and kind of making Trinity do all the alliance talk with other people. But now over time, it's kind of shifted in the other direction with Trinity using Monet as protection instead of vice versa. It also doesn't help that the edit really hasn't shown a lot of Monet's strategy recently outside of just expecting Jinkx to give her the star. Her positioning was really good until Jaida called her out and Viv blocked her in the same week. But now with a block and only 1 star under her belt, she definitely isn't the biggest target in the competition, so I feel like she can kind of shift back into a good position. Maybe ask Jinkx about that alliance again, stir the pot with maybe Jinkx and Viv, or just in the workroom in general. I don't know, we have to see, but I fully believe in Monet. I really don't think they would show this much strategy talk with Monet if they weren't going to do something with it in the future, so time will tell. I think it's going to pay off. Next up, we have Yvie, who, like Jaida, I feel like is just kind of vibing in the competition. She's also playing a very clean game, just kind of having a good time, making some friends, and that's really paid off for her. It's crazy that she went from no stars to a frontrunner in a single episode, but it also makes a lot of sense because I think she's just playing a really fun game. I don't think that any of these queens were trying not to get in the top, but by Yvie kind of being a slow burner, she hasn't had the threat at all in the competition, and she's been able to be really friendly the whole time, get no blood on her hands, and I don't think any of the queens are planning on blocking her anytime soon. We're gonna have to see after next episode, but I feel like Yvie's not gonna take a lot of the heat of the competition, and she may be able to get another win before even being seen as a threat.
I think I would block would be or Jinkx, honestly. I think Yvie, she's kind of on the incline.
Kind of like Trinity, I don't think a lot of Yvie's game has been discovered yet because she hasn't really been given the chance to make a lot of game moves. But as of right now, playing nice in the competition and laying low has done her well in the competition, so we'll see what happens in the future. Viv, what are you doing? I love the Vivienne so much, and I have no idea what she's been doing these past couple episodes. It's stressing me out. It's really stressing me out. To tell the frontrunner to their face if they had the chance to block them, they would, is just the dumbest move. I know she's acknowledged it, but we can't let it go understated how stupid that was for her to do. I don't think her game is bad for the most part. Obviously, she's had to block 2 people already, and she went with the best choice the first time. Both calling out and then blocking Monet puts a target on Monet's back, and I think that was really smart of her to do. Viv is a really emotion-filled player, and I think that's great for TV and kind of blowing up other people's games, but it's really destructive and it can get her in a lot of hot water. But I really don't think everything is lost for Viv. There may be a way for her to get out of this. It's very clear that Jinkx and her have this rivalry going on and people are just expecting them to keep blocking each other, but if they form an alliance without people knowing, it could lead to a really strong duo. She has an idea of how to play the game, she's just been slipping up through her emotions, so if she has Jinkx as protection, it may be better. We're gonna have to see how it plays out, but I think these next couple episodes are gonna be really fun to watch because of the Vivienne. Next up, we have Jaida, who I think is actually a mastermind. It's clear that she came back to have fun and that's what she's doing, and she really hasn't had a lot of thought about strategy in the competition, but that's serving her so well. Jaida has every single speck of talent to go all the way, but by kind of making it known that she's just there for the good vibes and not really thinking about blocking people, there is no target on her back outside of Jinkx trying to put one there. I really think that she could lay low while winning a bunch of challenges and keeping her threat level low because she's making so many friends. I said this in Drag Detective's video a little while back, but I really think she's strategically not thinking about strategy. I think everyone sees her as both an ally and not the biggest threat, so she can just kind of float on in the competition, and it's so smart. If she doesn't win in the next 2 episodes but has challenges that are up her alley after that, it could be perfect for her. Finally, we have Shea, who is a very interesting case. I think in the next couple episodes, they may shift their focus back to a Shea and Monet style storyline, or at least give Shea another win. Come on, she deserves another one. Shea started out really strong by sniffing out Monet's strategy in the first couple episodes, and then after that, she just hasn't been given a lot of opportunity. Like Trinity, I think she's been able to lay low now, and people may not be seeing her as much of a threat, but because it is Shea, the second she gets another win, people are immediately going to be targeting her again. But she hasn't really been in the middle of anything, and with more things forming like Jinkx versus Vivienne, she may just be able to squeeze by. And her only chance to make a big game move was to block Trinity back in the first episode, and that's basically over. There's no blood there. It's basically done. She's like at a clean slate right now. She's easily not the biggest target, but I really think that she can win out towards the end just like Jaida, and she easily has the mind for strategy if she has to go back to it. So after describing everyone and where I think they're at in the competition, who do I think is playing the best game? Currently, I think it's either Jinkx or Jaida, with Shea and Monet showing potential in the future. For being the frontrunner and having a huge target on their back, I think Jinkx is doing a great job in the situation that they're in. They're managing the heat that they receive by giving their star to Jaida, and I think that by laying low in the next couple weeks, they could make it very far in the end. It's hard because Jinkx just kind of excels at everything, but if it comes down to it, I know they would probably be willing to kind of step back a little bit, allow for other people to get targets on their back, and then just come in and win out. Jaida, again, is just playing this game that's kind of akin to a floater game, but obviously there's no real floaters in this competition. She's just playing this really friendly game while having the talent to get her to the end without getting blocked too much.
Look, y'all, I don't want to think too hard about strategy because I'll confuse myself. That's a real fact.
While Jinkx has to jump through all these hoops in order to manage their threat level, Jaida can just kind of walk by and get some stars here and there. I mean, the only game move that Jaida had to make was to block someone, and then she blocked Jinkx, and then Jinkx still gave her a star. Like, how did that happen? She's just in the good graces of everyone, and that can come down to her personality more than strategy, but I mean, having that personality is just perfect for a game like this. We still have a little while to go before the finale, so there could be a lot that happens within this time. I'll probably do a follow-up video to this one when it gets closer to the end, doing like one last prediction before we get to the top 4. So if you like this, please like and subscribe. Also, please let me know in the comments below who you think is playing the best game. This is my favorite part about this season so far. I'll see you guys soon with another video.